Adventure bikes are the best. I love them and they're my #1 choice of motorcycle because they're literally every motorcycle you need. When the early BMW GS Boxers were first coming out, they were an oddity among motorcyclists who divided themselves into cruiser riders, sport bike riders, and dirt riders. Well, this weird new bike was almost as fast as a sport bike through the twisties, was all day comfortable on a cross-country trip, and could handle some dirt action. Not as much as a dirt bike obviously, but enough to get riders to some out-of-the-way places. Moto journalists raved about them, but the public was skeptical. They looked weird, and if you rode these, you didn't fit into the 3 general clubs of riders. Until Long Way Round aired in 2004 and convinced a generation of riders that the best way to travel around the world and through Siberia was on huge and heavy BMW 1150s. Mud? No problem. The rest was history, and as the popularity of adventure bikes grew, so did their prices. And no wonder, they're great bikes. Soon, in 2010, Ducati introduced the Multistrada, the first motorcycle with multiple rider modes, which was touted at the time as 4 bikes in one. All other manufacturers followed with huge tech-filled and very expensive models of their own. And so now we have a glut of options on the market, most of which are on the pricey side. But what if you're interested in adventuring, but don't have the budget to drop on a new BMW or KTM 1300? Fear not, intrepid adventurer, because in this video we'll explore all the options available to riders who are more interested in exploring the wilderness than posing at Starbucks with their 600-pound pimped out with every doodad machine. Can you go around the world for less than 10k? 5k? Sure you can. Stay tuned. And as always, please consider supporting this small channel by subscribing, liking the video, and sharing it with friends. First of all, despite the fact that for a while adventure motorcycles kept getting bigger, there have been quite a few smaller and less expensive models introduced. Bikes like the BMW G310 GS, the Kawasaki Versys 300X, the KTM 390 Adventure, the original air-cooled Royal Enfield Himalayan 411, and my wife Brooke's former bike, the Honda CRF 300L Rally, all cost between $5,000 and $7,000 US and can be bought for cash by a regular person who saves a bit of money. No, none of these bikes are as comfortable on the highway as a BMW R1300 GS, but they are all capable of maintaining highway speeds, they are all decently comfortable, and every one of them will do better off-road than the huge 500+ pound adventure bikes, which cost 3 or 4 times as much. Light is right off-road. And the segment is growing as KTM is about to introduce a much more off-road worthy 390 Adventure, and CF Moto just came out with the 450 Ibex, literally the twin-cylinder 450 adventure bike that a lot of ADV riders have been asking for. US MSRP $6,500. I have a feeling this bike is going to put CF Moto on the map worldwide. Heck, it's only a matter of time before Kawasaki finally upgrades the Versys X with their new 452cc twin-cylinder engine. They'll have a hard time producing enough to meet demand, which should raise the price from the sub $6,000 US the current 300 costs, but probably not by that much. Royal Enfield has just released a new liquid-cooled Himalayan, which unfortunately isn't slated for North America yet, probably because they can't build them fast enough to send everywhere. Expect the price of this one to be sub $7,000 US though. Finally, as long as we're discussing 450s, the Cove Rally 450 is a literal Dakar race bike which can be bought for under 10k US. And the largest of these small bikes is the Honda NX500, which costs $7,400 US, has a 471cc twin-cylinder engine, and weighs 432 pounds wet. It is perhaps the most touring-worthy of the smaller crop of motorcycles. 7.4k isn't bad for a new Honda adventure bike. Get this one for pavement touring, and get the Honda CRF 300L Rally for serious dirt riding. I've taken ours to places most adventure bikes dare not tread, as it is one of the lightest and most dirt-worthy ADVs on the North American market. Which is why serious adventurers prefer these small bikes to the big aircraft carriers that cost 3 to 4 times as much. These bikes are simpler, don't require all kinds of electronics needed to keep the rider from launching himself into orbit because he's running 150 horsepower on dirt, and are easier to lift if dropped on an adventure. Let me tell you, if given a choice to ride through Siberia on the Road of Bones on the big GS, or our old CRF 300L Rally, I'm taking the Rally every day of the week, and I'd be faster on it than on the BMW on the really rough roads. If you are looking for a bigger but still extremely inexpensive and reliable ADV bike with a slightly higher displacement, a bike that is ready for a round-the-world adventure, then the Kawasaki KLR 650 is the obvious choice. I've reviewed a couple of these in a wide variety of situations, and while they're not awesome at any one thing, they are competent everywhere, comfortable, and cost only $6,900 US. They will do highway speeds all day and can even take on some single track, although slowly and carefully. This is truly a bike that punches above its weight in terms of price. Check out my video on this bike in the top right corner. However, if your definition of inexpenses rises up to the $10,000 neighborhood, you can get a lot for your 10-ish K. My own bike, the Yamaha Tenere 700, is a fantastic all-rounder, reliable, good on and off-road, and currently costing under $10,500 US. For a motorcycle that handles so well on pavement, you'd be surprised how good it is off-road. Honda has recently released its Tenere 700 competitor, the Transalp 750, and this is another 10K winner. It's a bit better suited to pavement and slightly behind the T7 in the dirt, and would be a great mount for adventure riders who are looking for a well-balanced bike. Check out my review of this motorcycle in the top right corner. Another ADV that was released recently is the Suzuki V-Strom 800, which starts at $11,350 and has a fully adjustable suspension and a larger tank, making it the long-distance touring choice in this category. Finally, if you want more power and electronics including cruise control, CF Moto has its Ibex 800, which runs the last 799cc KTM motor, putting out an impressive 94 horsepower. This bike is definitely more road-oriented than the others in this category, but it offers a lot of touring potential for $10,500 US. But of course, if you're on a budget, it makes sense to consider the used market, as you can get a lot of bike for your money there. Unfortunately, you're unlikely to find many used Tenere 700s, Transalps, or V-Strom 800s, as these bikes are fairly new, but you can find many longer-serving models. The BMW Boxer and Parallel Twin GS models have been around for a while, and there are plenty on sale these days. The 1000cc Africa Twins were also introduced some time ago, and many are available on the used market. And you can go down the line. You can get used Ducati Multistradas and KTM Adventures, as well as a host of other bikes for prices that are a fraction of what a new one might cost. However, remember one thing. If you're on a budget, chances are that some of these older bikes will cost you more in maintenance and repair than a new motorcycle. There's no point in saving thousands on a used bike to only end up spending thousands on fixing it when it breaks down. That's why, if it was me, I'd go for a Japanese bike. They tend to be more reliable. I've already mentioned the Africa Twin, but you can also get the Yamaha Super Tenere 1200, which now comes with bags and crash protection in Canada. Check out my review of that bike in the top right corner. Also, we have used KLR 650s, which are even less expensive than the new ones, and plenty of Suzuki V-Strom 1000s. But perhaps the best deals on used adventure bikes can be had on used V-Strom 650s. These bikes are generally acknowledged as being superior to their 1000cc big brother, lighter and better handling, and that SV650 engine has plenty of power for everything you need, between 70 and 75 horsepower. Depending on how old they are, they can be had for anywhere between $3,000 and $6,000 US. In Canada, you can get a low mileage one fully kitted out for $6K Canadian. That's less than $4,500 US, and you're off and having fun and adventuring without having a massive monthly payment or coughing up a lot of money to your insurance company. Which is another thing. A 650 will cost a lot less to insure than a used R1200 GS. Smaller bike, smaller premium. Finally, any bike north of 500cc will be totally fine if you decide to tour 2 up, even on the highway. So, to sum up, you can adventure on a budget, whatever budget you may have. If you want newer bikes and you're more interested in going off-road, the smaller ADVs 300 to 500cc are the best choice. The Honda CRF 300L Rally is the best affordable choice for off-roading, while the Honda NX 500 is the best small bike for long-range pavement touring. All of the others are somewhere in the middle, and you'll have to decide which one to buy based on the kind of riding you do. You can also get mid-size adventure bikes at prices that are not too steep, though the only new mid-size bike that is truly affordable is the Kawasaki KLR 650. Beyond that, you get into a wide range of used bikes which could serve your purpose. Factor insurance and reliability into your calculations, as smaller bikes tend to cost less to insure and Japanese bikes are less likely to need costly repairs. To me, the standouts in the adventure market are the Kawasaki KLR 650 new and the Suzuki V-Strom 650 used. If you're more off-roady, then the Honda CRF 300L Rally, Cove Rally, or CF Moto Ibex 450 might suit you better. If I had to go around the world tomorrow for under 10k out the door, I'd probably get a new KLR 650 or CRF 300L Rally. If I had to do it under 5k, I'd get a used KLR. That bike won't blow your hair back, but it will get the job done. But what would your choice be for a budget around the world mount? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Ride safe, and may the spokes be with you. Alright, here we are, typical Canada. We got a beaver dam over here. And we are literally under the level of the lake. If that beaver dam gives, we're flooding away.
We're doomed.
We're doomed.
In Algonquin Park. Doomed.